And welcome back, friends, to the life and suffering of Prince Jerian. Holy heck, I have missed this game series. All right, we are starting back at 11 years old. I stopped off at the wrong spot. Hopefully, it will go back to the reading segment. I got to glance over it just to make sure I was getting an idea, but it was kind of like those overview segments of looking at what's going on politically that you can't experience yet. So we're going to play as far as we're able to today. I don't know how much is left of the playtest, but we'll get rocking and rolling that. And then we've got a YouTube comment to read later. Rumble comments and live chats are always prioritized. If you want to watch the live stream, got to subscribe on Rumble. All right, let's get going. Ooh, boy, I love this game. Yeah, okay. So, note for the future, gotta make sure to get through the clickable cutscenes. Can I go back to that yet? I don't think I can go back to that. Ignore the dog. All right. I wish there was a way to go back. I do not believe that there is a way to go back, but that's okay. That's fine. I've learned my lesson for the future. Basically, tensions are rising, and it looks like it's happening in like a similar or close to storyline of Sir Brante. You sit at your desk, scratching the wooden surface. The apple trees in the park are in bloom, filling the classroom with the sweet fragrance. Time seems to flow like molasses. Ferdinand is twirling his curly locks around his finger, his cheek propped on his fist. Your mentor's eyes are trained on you too. He paces the classroom, his voice fills the space around you. Oh yeah, someone pointed out. I was probably getting Cornelius Tempest mixed up with someone else. So he might actually be a decent dude. I don't remember. Maybe I was too hard on him. I just know that a lot of people suck in this universe. The vast Arcanian Empire stretches from one sea to another in all cardinal directions. There are no countries of the people aside from the Arcanians and humans who live under the twins' protections. Arcanians are different from humans in many ways, including our blue blood, which gives our skin its distinctive hue, our superior strength, and our longer lifespans. Arcanians were the ones who laid the groundwork for the Empire. The humans were subjugated, then assimilated into our culture, and learned to live by our laws. The humans submitted themselves to the Arcanian authority, working their way from slaves and peasants to guild masters, scientists, and even nobility.
How do you suppose the Arcanians would get along without humans? They'd probably just languish over the genealogy records, look at the past for all the answers, and never know the wonders of technology and scientific progress humans have pioneered.
Wow, dude. Getting real bold. Getting real bold saying that to an Arcanian. Oh boy. There is some truth to your words, but we're talking about Arcanians today. The Emperor rules supreme over the entire world. That said, some Arcanian families hold a great deal of power as well. We call those families the Great Houses, okay? I probably heard a little bit of this in Brante, but it's good to review it now. Only some from the Great House can receive the title of Overseer from the Emperor and rule one of 8 provinces in the Empire is divided into. The Emperor's ruling dynasty is the House Tempest. The Tempests reign supreme among all the other great houses in all matters at all times. Basically, I'm like God.
I'm sure the previous ruling dynasty of the Arcanians thought the same thing until the great houses cut their reign short.
Cornelius's face darkens. Yeah, he's being a brat right now. Whatever happens to... Or he's not just being a brat, but he's being stupid. Cornelius's face darkens, but he chooses to ignore the barb. When your mentor continues, his voice sounds even firmer than before. Yeah, I'm in good graces right now. The throne was granted to the Tempests by the twins. They bring God's love, law, and will to the people of the world. Now, I'm going to explain the relationships between the Tempests and the rest of the great houses. The peace in our blessed empire depends on balancing the agendas of various bloodlines. The ability to negotiate with them all is paramount importance. I'm starting to get tired of this brat.
Mentor, all this talk about Ognian society is like sleeping drops to us. Why don't you tell us about something that's actually interesting?
Wow, dude, he is gonna get slapped.
For instance, why do my lands have sizable tax imposed on them while those belonging to the Ognians do not? And why do I have to waste money on maintaining a garrison if the Empire's enemies are long gone?
You have come of age, Ferdinand. You have a title and your own lands now. I see you are eager to prove yourself a talented ruler, but every ambitious noble needs to understand the inner workings of the great houses and how they affect the overall political landscape. And Rumble Peeps, if a volume needs to go up or down any, just let me know and I can make the adjustment. So, I shall continue.
Back me up here, Schmealy.
Gosh, I keep forgetting his name is Schmealy.
We need to stop digging around in the past and learn something that could actually impact our lives. Our future depends on the things we study right now.
Oh, it's another choice time. Do you agree with Ferdinand? Would you rather focus on matters of imperial governance than delve into the subtleties of Ognian diplomacy? Or perhaps a subject that would capture everyone's attention, bringing up an argument too close? Woohoo! I can propose my own subject to discuss because I've got a lot of logic, because I'm a super logical being. Oh. Okay, so here's the deal. I am not backing up Ferdinand, and I don't want to back up... I don't know if I want to back up Cornelius, because Cornelius is being fine right now, but I think I would rather bring up something else, because I'm curious, right? And I feel like I've built Schmealy so far to be the kind of like curious being who just wants to know things, and like, you know, this is all cool and great and whatnot, but I've got my own questions. He's kind of building his own curious mind. So I'm gonna propose a subject of my own choosing. The tension between Cornelius and Ferdinand is almost impalpable. But remembering how passionate they both are about progress, you ask your mentor to outline how the Empire has changed in recent years. Ferdinand nods enthusiastically, and you see a spark of interest in Cornelius' eyes as well. Yes! There have been many changes since Tarquinius Melanius left the post of the Great Chancellor. The Empire relies on humans much more these days. The new laws have given low-born people a new degree of freedom, which has led to an upswing in technological advancements. Humans have originally managed to make breakthroughs in agriculture, metallurgy, and construction despite their short lifespan. I wonder if this is taking place after Sir Brante. Because they have so many options that they can do with it. Like, they really built the first game so well because they left themselves so many options for the follow-up game. Because we really, like, if it were happening at the same time, it wouldn't have to disagree or assume the choices you made with Brante. You could just go with the major overarching events because he's kind of like a behind-the-scenes string pulling character until you get to the ending. So there's really a lot you can do with this game. The new laws have given low-born people a degree of freedom, which has led to long-term advancements. Humans have occasionally managed to make breakthroughs in agriculture, metallurgy, and construction despite their short lifespans. Ferdinand joins enthusiastically. It's clear that he finds the topic pleasant and interesting.
Humans changed a lot once they were given the opportunity. The invention of gunpowder 2 years ago opened up the horizons and...
Oh. So this is... Okay, that answers my question. This, I think, is happening either at the same time or slightly before. Interesting. Okay.
The rate which silver and other metals are being mined has increased leaps and bounds.
That's right, because that was a big part of the first game, was the silver mining. I forgot all about that. The conversation flows easily. The recent tension is completely gone now. Yes! You spend the day discussing various new developments and ideas that hold great potential for the Empire. As you say goodbye, It just makes it sound like I'm just like, yeah, that's great. Bye. And you just walk. As you say goodbye, your mentor puts a hand on your shoulder. I'm happy to see you're being so proactive. You need to understand the current workings of the Empire. It's absolutely crucial for your future.
Thanks.
You keep thinking about his words once you are left to your own devices. What exactly is your place in this power structure? And more importantly, why do people refuse to tell you? Ooh, my scholarship has made me adept. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, I have a lot more relationship with Ferdinand than I expected, but that's good. It's good. I've got some good sympathy with Cornelius Tempest. It's good. Good. Because I want to build those relationships now so that they'll be beneficial later on. How much longer am I going to do? I'm going to probably do... Ooh. I'm about halfway through this chapter. I'm probably going to do one more decisions worth. Okay. This is so whenever I do the next game, I need to make sure I finish whatever scene this is. Heretics in high places. An unsealed letter to be delivered via third-class mail to Marcus the blacksmith at the endmost house of Baronel Bourne's estate, Anazote. My dear friend, I hope this letter finds you well. Remember how happy you all were when we learned I was to be posted at the capital? It was like I'd won a prize at the fair. I thought the gods had finally smiled upon me. Well, it turns out serving the court isn't exactly a bed of roses. I spend days sitting in a huge chamber with the other bookkeepers. We checked and double-checked the treasury's expenditures as though there was some hope of finding money that isn't there. You tear a piece of paper with your quill, and the chief bookkeeper roars like a wounded moose. He might even give you a box in the ear as though you were a schoolboy. We all sleep in the same room, but they say whoever gets past the first probationary year will be transferred to the palace grounds and even allowed to start a family. I'm just worried they'll replace all the servants with some more well-mannered and someone more well-mannered and nicer for Archnians to look at. There are rumors. They treat us like garden tools. All they care about is that you do your job and don't cause any trouble. I haven't seen our good lords even once. Probably too busy comparing their magnificent family trees or dusting off their heirlooms they're so enamored with. Well, I did bump into the delegation on my way out of the palace once. Barely had time to hide behind the corner to keep out of their sight. The procession looked very nice, all white horses and carriages. The Archnians who arrived were way too straight-laced and wore strange long robes. Some people call those dresses, but we'll continue. They say it was Luke, the patriarch of Archnia. Please tell me it was a dress, then. On his way to a meeting with Junius Diamond, the head of the Astenine Church. I feel like I remember either Junius or someone from the Diamond family. Both Luke and Junius are up to some strange business. Sounds almost like heresy. People say they've followed in the Patriarch Photus's footsteps. Oh, where are we then? I remember Photus, because Photus was the rebel and abandoned Isatias's teachings. Apparently, they don't follow the lots. They reinterpret the scripture and even let commoners read the holy books. And like all rot, the pestilence makes its way down to us lowborn folk, even when the higher-ups remind the youngsters about their lot. They just smirk when they think no one is looking. Someone really needs to put the fear of the gods into them. It's so bad I saw someone reading the Holy Scriptures at night. He stashed the book and tried to convince me he had just taken his work to bed with him. Likely story. The food's not that great either. We had fish soup. Oh, good lord. Oh. Yesterday. Can't really call it a chowder since there's barely any trace of fish left in the broth. That's to be expected, I guess. They say all those factories have polluted the river in Eterna beyond recognition. No good fish to be found here now. Good lords and ladies must have it delivered on ice or something, and then we get gutfish soup. I miss you, my friend. I know life can get hectic, but please remember to write back. And say hello to your sister for me. Twins willing, we will see each other again. Best wishes, Edric. Alright. Societal drive to establish secular law and protect personal freedoms. Okay. We'll see how things land, because a big thing that we've kind of learned in American politics is you cannot convince... Excuse me, I'm talking here. You can wait. People can only be led in the ways they are willing to be led. You guys remember Ryan from The Office? You know, I want a strong leader. I need to be led, but only in the ways I want to be led when I feel like following. Yeah, that's the idea. That, you know, that's really true of a lot of people. People are willing to follow, and they will if they're forced to, but they're really willing to follow when they feel like it. And so you kind of have to, because I have a feeling I'm going to be able to make a lot more decisions that impact what's going on than Brante did. I'll be able to actually influence the politics of the region, which is going to be very, 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 very interesting. So I'm going to pay attention to how the people are feeling and how they're going to be willing to be led, because I don't want to, even if it's an option, I don't want to do something that doesn't make sense. All right, the sticks make a clanging sound as they collide. Emil rolls. I'm still with Emil. Interesting. I think he was an over the top accent. That's right. Today, the two of you are valiant knights caught on opposite sides of an attack against Eterna. Lowborn people aren't allowed to fight, but this is just a game. Emil assured you it's not against his lot. Oh boy. The vacant lot you found is the perfect place for a fight. Apparently nobles used to have real duels here before the ban. Martha, hello! Martha watches you and Emil, twirling a strand of hair around her finger. The three of you still spend time together when you're not busy with books in the classroom. You catch Martha's eye, and in an attempt to show off, make a daring jab at Emil's arm. Martha gasps in fright. You purse your lips. It's only natural that Martha values Emil more since they knew each other before they met you. You'll always be the newcomer in your little group. Their bond might be much stronger than yours. But then Martha turns to you. Her smile makes the anxious thoughts vanish into thin air. You abandon your play fight when you hear the sound of hooves approaching the clearing. There are 6 riders and mounts leaving a cloud of dust in their wake. Without saying a word to each other, you and your friends scurry behind a tree, ready to watch the proceedings avidly. The riders dismount. Their clothes look expensive, and they have swords attached to their belts. Everyone is anxious but solemn. One of the nobles ceremoniously asks if the other 2 might settle a dispute peacefully. You're in luck. This is a real court of honor. A young officer with puffy sideburns proclaims excitedly that he doesn't want anyone to die, but he will not change his mind about marrying his opponent's sister. Great way to start a marriage, already hating the in-laws. They're in love and refuse to let Corvier's conceit stand in the way of their happiness. His opponent, a handsome nobleman with bright blue eyes and a streak of gray in his hair, shakes his head as the younger speaks. Your family and nobles of the mantle, your title is earned prematurely after a few years in the military academy. You were born a commoner and took the sacrament of the lash. Your children will not inherit your noble title. They will live the commoner's lot. My sister's family, which you insist on marrying into,
are nobles of the sword. Our title has been passed down from father to son for 100 years. You have earned an honorable title, good sir, but you have no ancestors living in your blood tide. You are utterly alone, which I have in valor and skill of all generations of El Corvus and my back. You do not stand a chance. You would be wise to withdraw from this duel.
Gotcha. All right, here's the deal. Here's where things get complicated. They both have a decent point, okay? You know, the children are going to go through a rough time, period. Like, okay, they're not going to immediately inherit the noble title, okay? That is a valid point that needs to be taken into consideration. If both people involved are willing to do that, then okay. Because think about this. Listen, if she is willing to say, yes, my children are going to be born into the commoner's lot, but they have an opportunity to be able to earn a different lot, like whether it be the priests or potentially the nobles, if they have the opportunity to work up to there, they could do that. But his children are just going to be commoners, period, whether he marries her or not. So if she is willing to go through the struggle of her children being commoners and having to fight their way up, what's the problem? The officer with the sideburns objects fervently. His noble status is no worse than El Corvio's, and he's earned it by proving his worth. Yeah, but you're not listening. You're not listening to the... Anyways. While it might be true that he wasn't raised a nobleman, he knows a thing or two about honor and cannot possibly withdraw now. Yeah, he can. The officer realizes that he is outmatched, but prefers death to dishonor. Stupid. Stupid. Sighing, the arbiter declares the duel will be fought to the lesser death. Oh, yeah, that's right, lesser death. Still, though, that's stupid. The duel will be fought to the lesser death. These men have failed to find a just outcome for their dispute. If this is your first time tuning in to the Life and Suffering series, you die. I think you can die 3 lesser deaths, and then the 4th death is your actual death. So they are fighting to the lesser death, which means this is not their final death. These men have failed to find an outcome to their dispute, so the court will now, the court of honor will now determine which of them is right. The opponents retreat to the proper distance, saluting each other. The duel is over before it even begins. The noble with the sword evades the young officer's strike with effortless ease. Stupid. The officer freezes, his face rapidly losing color. A blade is sticking out of his back. As the would-be groom slumps to the dusty ground, his body begins to dissolve into slippery mist. The arbiter declares that El Corvios has won the dispute. The nobles leave in silence. He could still marry her.
What a shame. The guy was so lucky and so much in love. He's lucky it was just a lesser death, though. He'll be reborn in the city temple in the morning. If they dueled the true death, he'd be over and done with forever.
I know you have to explain it, just in case there's any new players.
I wonder what happens to the souls of the nobles in the hereafter. Do they face the twins' judgment, or do they remain in the blood tide, watching over their descendants?
Oh, I gotta remember what I did for you.
Father Joseph sees all the souls without exception go to the shining pillar. The blood tides preserve only the legacy of noble ancestors. Archnians are hereditary nobles. Hear the voices of their lineage, grant them the wisdom and strength of past generations. But these are memories stored in the blood, not souls.
Emil isn't listening to Martha. He kind of is. He kind of is listening. He points his stick at you, his head held high, his eyes burn with rapturous awe as he mimics the officer's tone.
My noble status is no worse than yours, and unlike you, I earned it. Nothing you say or do will make me stop loving your sister.
Scrunching up his face, Emil pushes his hair. down to imitate sideburns. What a goofy. Kids are so goofy. Apparently, you're supposed to protect the honor of all nobles of the sword and your sister in particular, since your friend has decided to play the role of the paramour.
If you consider family thinks I'm not good enough, then I challenge you to a duel. Prepare yourself!
You give him a haughty smirk, reminding Emil about the generations of ancestors. Go back. Emil is doomed. Suddenly, Martha grabs your hand and leans over to you, whispering in your ear.
Can't you just let him win, Smiley? You know Emil's been having a rough time of late.
He has been? Oh no, poor buddy, what's going on?
I'd hate for the two of you to fight for real. Just let Emil have this one today. He really needs it, please.
Oh. Emil holds a sword at the ready, eager to start the fight. Should you listen to Martha and let your friend win? Or should you win in a fair fight? You are stronger, after all. Or maybe you have some feelings you can no longer keep silent about. Ooh. Ooh. I don't have enough passion. That's okay. That's okay. I can let that happen, even if it takes some of my... What are these over here? They used to be willpower. Sanity. Yeah, I can give up a sanity if I have to. Giving Martha a surreptitious nod, you start the duel. Emil fights without holding back. His love and honor are really all that's at stake. You can see his swings before they land. It would be very easy to dodge them. Still, you make a point to move slower and end up taking painful hits to your shoulder, midsection, and sides. The fight doesn't last long. Emil waves his stick around you furiously, his eyes burning with the thrill of battle. You strike back, but not as hard as you can. Finally, Emil kicks you to the ground. You've lost.
I won't let you keep us apart anymore.
It's also just play. He's recreating what he just saw because he's a little traumatized. Not even the power of your entire blood tide can... Oh,
not even the power of your entire blood tide can make you stand in the way of our love. I've proven to you and your ancestors I'm worthy of my beloved.
I do appreciate his over-the-top behavior. Emil offers you his hand, magnanimously helping you up. His posture is more confident now, his head held high. You can see how much this victory means to him. Good. You turn to Martha, but she only has eyes for Emil.
My hero, let me put some ointment on your bruises. My champion needs his wounds treated after a fight like that.
Girl gives you a grateful wink while Emil isn't looking. Yeah, and takes him by the elbow and pulls him away. You're left standing there, dumbfounded, watching their backs as they leave. Your whole body aches. You can feel bruises blooming in your skin, hot, sweaty, stinging in your scrapes and scratches. You struggle to wrap your head around what just happened. What just happened is you made a move, and it went better than you think. Why did Martha leave with Emil even though you did as she asked? Why? Frustrated, you kick the rocks on the ground, but your indignation only serves to raise a cloud of dust. You begin your trek back home. You'll learn as you get older, my guy. Come morning, Emil is waiting for you in the park. You don't really feel like talking to him after yesterday's fiasco. I guess this is how kids when you're missing frontal cortex thing. But your friend catches your sleeve as you walk past him.
Oi, Schmealy, you okay? That was an epic fight we had yesterday, huh? Don't sweat it. I'm sure you'll do better the next time. See? Everything's good. Everything's fine. We don't have to be a little bit about it. We're fine.
You give Emil a weak nod and ask how his evening with Martha went. He blushes, clearly feels pleased with himself, and he tells you they went for a walk and then kissed. Crap. Force out a smile before staggering back home. This is so unfair. Yeah, but still, where are we at on this? Indifference? Why are we indifferent? Okay. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead. Let's make sure we don't have any like cutscenes or anything that we have to go through, and then we're gonna call it quits for the day. Oh, we're gonna answer a question first. Okay, while I got you here, we have a question from the YouTube viewers, which, by the way, holy heck, is this playthrough blowing up on YouTube right now. Like, what the heck? Okay, let me find it real quick, because we are getting a lot of action on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe if you are not subscribed, and feel free to comment, because Rumble comments are always prioritized. Rumble chats are always prioritized over YouTube. Just don't have any yet. All right. On YouTube, from Renigen1, what do you think about the two gods of the Life and Suffering universe? I found them quite creative. It's one of the strongest parts of the game, since religion is rarely given this much importance. I certainly love the lore surrounding them, as well as having multiple rebirths, although only for the lower lots. Do you think that the two gods having anything to do with the Christian god, the part that I'm really interested in? The game is designed in Russia. Enjoy seeing their world building and storytelling. I think that the elder god may be close to God the Father, and the younger god may be close to God the Son. I find this a very, because I have thought about it a little bit. Pieces of it are closer to the idea of nirvana, or of like Buddhist thought, like everything is collected into one conscience. So I wouldn't entirely say it's a Christian God type of format, particularly with the God the Father, God the Son bit. I do kind of see a tiny bit of what you mean by that, and here's where some of the imagery gets very interesting. Because if you were comparing them to, what Christians believe, you could say that either one could represent either one. Because on one hand, people look at the God in the Old Testament as the one that brings divine wrath. So he could be the younger God. Or Jesus could be, because you have the statements of Jesus coming to bring the sword, to divide. There's a lot of different, biblical messaging that bleeds into it, because let's be honest, Christianity is one of the foremost religions in the world. So there's definitely some influence. As to if this directly relates to them, I don't think it quite does it. And I will also say, it's not the only time that there's been this idea of a twins god thing. The Ruby universe from Rooster Teeth also kind of delves into this a little bit. And the lore is definitely interesting, and I appreciate the idea. I'm trying to remember back to the Brante days. I think that the idea of the gods is fascinating, but not as fascinating to me as the textual criticism idea. And this goes into how I approach, real world religious belief systems. I really like the debates about textual criticisms. Well, does this text actually say this? Does this text actually mean this? Those are the things that really excite me. So, I think the most interesting part of it to me is the feuds that happen, because it does kind of have like a little reminder of Catholicism's great schisms that have happened throughout history. That's basically what I got for you right now. I'm going to think some more over it, but to give you just kind of like the brief, I don't think that it directly relates to the Christian God, but it is a fun and interesting thought to play around with. But for now, I'm going to have to go ahead and get going and start getting ready for work, and I'm trying to get this game done. I need to have this game done in March. I was supposed to have it done in February, and things just happened, and I wasn't able to get to it. So I'm going to try to get Something Is Under the Bed done in March, okay? And hold me to it. Harass me about it. I give you permission to harass me into finishing Something Is Under the Bed, okay? Thank y'all very much for tuning in. I will see y'all soon. Peace out, homebrews.